Recording in progress. Good evening, everybody. Here's our last legislative summit before our last legislative meeting before the summit, which starts on Sunday. I'm sure everybody's got travel plans coordinated. I think it's going to be okay. The weather seems all right. We don't have any issues with getting in and getting out like we may have had in the past. Looks like we're going to have 50s on Tuesday up on the hill. There is a pack medallion. So those of you that are pack medallion winners, there's a pack medallion reception on Sunday night. So if you're a pack medallion winner and you didn't get an invitation to that yet, let me know. I sent those out. So that's Sunday night. We have a Glenn Ivy. He's not officially official, but I think he's pretty official, right, Brian? Pretty close.
Correct.
Okay.
Just waiting final confirmation.
So for those Maryland people from Maryland on there, they've all been invited to listen to him. He's close to DC. His district butts up against DC, so he'll nobody from the House is in. So he was the closest thing we could get. That's Sunday night. Monday we're going to start at 9. I'm going to go. We'll do the pleasantries and everything, and then I had a little state of the business. The PMG is going to speak to us at 10. Don't know how long he'll go. You know how that goes. I've got Brian, Chris, and Joel slated for 11 to do the political stuff. Then we're going to have lunch again. That's by invitation only. There will be a lunch for it's about 100 of us. Those invitations went out to PAC chairs, legislative chairs, a couple of significant others. And again, medallion winners. So that'll be lunch. The rest of you will be lunch on your own. Come back at 1:30. Mr. Butts from NAPS is going to speak to us briefly, just to say, hey, their LTS is next week or the week after, and I'll be going to that. They're pushing WEP GPO2. One of the Connolly bills is there. Actually, both the Connolly bills are theirs. But the one about MSPB representation for all postal managers, whether or not you supervise, is theirs. We're going to be talking about that. Then right after him, we'll have Peter Pastor, the VP of Government Relations from the Postal Service. He got our position paper today. And unlike anybody else that spoke to us prior to Mr. Pastor taking over, he actually reads our position paper and knows what we're going to go up on Capitol Hill and lobby for. So he will speak to that. And I already teed him up with the one thing that we're not talking a lot about is, if those of you that have heard the postal police issue, we'll talk about that at, protection of carriers on the street. There's a big push in parts of Congress for answers on how we protect carriers and why the postal police force is not deployed on the streets of America. And there's lots of reasons for that, not least of which, so we don't really have a position on it, except that it's the same as electric vehicles. We're happy to take whatever vehicles you can give us, Congress, if you want to fund it. This is how much it's going to cost. So we'll talk about that. The reason, the feedback I'm getting from the service on that is more, hey, if you just tell your people if they get those questions, just to defer. We need to be able to engage. We need to be able to have a response when we're in the room, because they will ask about that. I saw a news thing today from Minnesota. One of the congresswomen from Minnesota put up a website, give me all your complaints about the Postal Service in Minnesota, and 3,200 responses, and she forwarded all those to Mr. DeJoy, pounding her fist. Let's get it fixed. And of course, we can't get a meeting with her. We've been trying to meet with her for a month, and she won't respond to us again. So you need to be prepared for that when we get up on the Hill. So we're gonna teach that. Jim Dunlap, unfortunately, is not going to be able to be with us. He's got him and his wife have both had some health issues in and out of the hospital. I think they're on the mend now, but he didn't feel right traveling if she wasn't 100%, which she's not. So we respect that decision. We're happy for it, but I'll be giving most of the legislative stuff. Fortunately, I got a little experience in that arena. So I'll be picking up Jim's slack, and then John Dowd's VP from Atlantic, from Delaware. He's been in the office last couple of days getting your stuff ready for PAC. Do you want to share much with him now, John, about what you got planned for PAC?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, here you go, just fine.
So yeah, I've been in the office for the last couple of days. It's the first time I've been there, and my hat goes off to these guys. You know, Edmund and Jerry and Dan. They just don't stop. The amount of work they do, it's like the work of 8 people. It's incredible. I had to wake Edmund up a few times, but
Yeah.
The other 2 did some great work. It's hard to keep up with them. It really is. But we have some packets ready for all the chapters. I was going to go through a list of what's in there, but you'll see when you get them. The list just kept growing and growing. So there's a lot of good information in there, a lot of things you can take to the Hill, some information for the senators and congressmen and women, such as how many offices are in their state and how much income tax the postal employees in their state pay to their state and that sort of thing, which is very important information. So there'll be some good stuff in there. We'll talk about it more. And PAC donations through the weekend, through a PAC donation table and a couple other things. And so yeah, we're looking forward to seeing everyone. Safe travels, and that's gonna be a good conference.
Yeah, it was tough to nap with John around. I just did try a couple. I closed my door one time. That didn't stop him. He came in and woke me up anyway. But yeah, the economic impact statements will be in there. They look a little different this year. The service in their infinite wisdom, they're now online. You can get them online. So we'll actually look at that and show you where. So if you ever get, you know, hey, I forget, where's that impact statement? Can you send me one? You can access it yourself. And it's good. The position paper is written. Karen made it look nice.
Hey, Edmund.
Yes.
I'm sorry. One thing I forgot to mention. I will be looking for volunteers to spend about an hour at the PAC table at the national convention. So I'm going to have a sign-up sheet for that on Monday, this Monday at the legislative. So for anybody that's interested in helping out, that'd be a huge help.
Good point. Good point. Speaking of tables, just to put a different hat on for just a second, we will have a mock-up of what your table should look like at the career conference. I got an easel. I have the foam board with the QR code. We have the mat lay down mats so you can make your table look nice no matter what size it is. Magazines, 1187s, that sort of thing. So it's just going to be off to the side. We're not going to do anything with it. Just for demonstration. I figured it's an opportunity to show what the membership team came up with as a design for that and what's worked in the past. The QR code came out nice on the foam board. We are not ordering those. Chapters will have to do that, but I can give you all the information on how to order it. I got it from Vistaprint in a couple of days. It was amazing. The easel was like $12. So let's see here. Okay, so people are already volunteering, John. Patrick says he's in. Ruben, you can't rely on Ruben, but Ruben says he's in. And then Kendrick also. So I expect you guys to sign up. Get in early, you get a good slot.
Are we going to have a table at the Legislative Summit?
There'll be a table at Legislative. The sign-up sheet will be on Monday there. The PAC table will be in the room all day Monday. So that's pretty much Monday. I'll go up and do and train so that we have same as in prior years. We have a PowerPoint for you to share with the people you meet with. You make copies of, show it on your tablet. I'll get all that out. I'm still tweaking it, you know me, last minute stuff changes. Well, here's the thing, we're up to 200 co-sponsors on HR 82. 30, I think there's 34 in the House, in the Senate, and 200 already in the House. I did speak briefly with Mr. Garrett from Louisiana, who's the major sponsor. He had a call yesterday. And so it's 200 is a big number. So we get there and we make it 300, and now we're talking. So that's going to be our major push. Will be web GPO, and then so on Tuesday we're going up to the Capitol Hill Club as our huddle room. So you guys do your meetings right there as you get off Capitol South. Cannon Building's here. Capitol Hill Club is here. And you can, for those of you listening on audio, I pointed left and right. We got that space from 10 to 4. We're going to serve lunch from 11 to 1. So as you're making, it's going to be a quick grab and go kind of deal. There's enough room in there for people to sit. I don't think we'll get all 350 in there at the same time, but we'll figure it out. I wouldn't do any meetings there necessarily unless you absolutely have to. But Congress, all the office buildings are wide open. So do your meetings. Then at 4:30 over on the Senate side, and get this great name for a room, SD 106. Senate, Dirksen, first floor, SD 106. That's the room we're going to be in. There'll be refreshments. We'll have a reception. We're going to honor Senator Brasso from Wyoming. And hopefully we'll get some guests, pop in show. Otherwise, I told Brian, Chris, and Joel they got a variety show for an hour and a half. So is there any questions on the rundown for the summit travel? Everybody knows how to get to the hotel. It's pretty easy. It's right there. Are there any questions on the summit? Or I turn it over. All right. I either did a really good job or I muted everybody again. You guys still hear me, right? Okay. All right, Brian, do you want to speak on where we are politically, where we may be with, the Senate? I know the House isn't in session, but senators coming back, and maybe we catch a couple of them in the afternoon on Tuesday.
Yeah. So the House is home this week and next week. So you won't see them in Washington. You're coming to Washington and they're staying home, unfortunately. But when we have to book these things years in advance, we just don't have the schedules yet, and that's sometimes how it happens. Senators will be coming back for votes on Tuesday, so you may be able to catch your senators. We have invitations out to several to come and stop by the SD 106 room. So hopefully you'll be there and join us. Can you hear me, Edmund, or no? Yep. Okay.
You sound good, Brian.
Okay. And then, I think the political climate on Capitol Hill is kind of interesting. The House has gotten off to a little bit of a slow start with some of their work, but it's been a little more bipartisan in a lot of cases since a tumultuous first couple of weeks. There's a lot of bipartisan bills being introduced, like WEP GPO. There's Republicans and Democrats working together on issues. They still play for the cameras, but when it comes to our issues, I think we're really getting a good reception. The biggest thing with all of these summits, particularly coming right off the heels of an election and new members being sworn in, is that re-education piece. And that's just why this is so important. There's so many new members. There's a lot of members on new committees. So, for particularly our Republican friends, there's a lot of new Republicans on the Ways and Means Committee. They may not have as much familiarity with the WEP GPO issue as they used to. They need a little bit more education about, why this is important to people in their state, to maybe get them on board if they haven't worked on this issue in the past. So, I think really good opportunity to talk to people, a lot of people to say thank you to for passing postal reform last year. Don't let people who supported us last year, go without being thanked. It's something they don't hear a whole lot, and they appreciate it when you do say it. So we'll be reminding people to talk about that. And then I think, the other thing politically is just making sure when, members of Congress have issues with their post offices, whether it's, complaints about the state of a facility, or problems with delivery, or whatever it is. When are their electric vehicles showing up? Who knows? They know that they have somebody that they can reach out to help get them the answers to their questions. And that's why we come up and we invest the time in building these relationships with folks. And they do reach out. They reach out to us. They reach out to Edmund. I know they reach out to our other members around the country. So I think it's going to be a good summit. It's going to be a little different. It's going to be really nice with all the buildings wide open, back like everything was pre-COVID. There's no mask requirements. Just the regular security. Like you're going through the airport. In the congressional office buildings. There's a few less entrances open, just because there's still a few less Capitol Hill police staffing than the need for all of them. But most of the entrances you're used to using on Constitution Avenue, on Pennsylvania Avenue, those are open. We'll remind people of this from the podium on Monday as well. But as you're sort of planning how you get around to your meetings, if you're taking the metro, the entrance at Cannon House office building that was closest to the metro is closed due to construction happening on that part of the building. So they have a whole wing that's undergoing renovation. So that entrance is closed. So you're going to have a little bit of a farther walk. The good news is it's not supposed to be raining or snowing or 87 degrees outside. So should be a nice walk around the corner to get into the building.
And everybody will be there. The peak bloom from the Washington Post is March 21st. So you guys will be there when all the cherry blossoms are out. Make sure you find some time to go check them out. It should be beautiful weather too.
Can I ask a question real quick? Can we take a backpack into the congressional office buildings?
Yeah, they search your bags. It's like getting on a plane.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. But that just make it a lot easier to throw everything in.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, you can bring a bag with your materials. Absolutely no problem. Just nothing you wouldn't bring to the airport.
Gotcha. And is there a position paper posted anywhere yet?
No, not yet. I just got it back from the printer today, so
Okay.
I will send that out. The presentation, I will send that out. I know people like to have that in advance, and I will send out a rundown of what we're doing on Monday, which includes the information on Tuesday. That may change, so don't hold me to that. The position paper is a PDF; it's already done. I won't send the presentation until I'm 100% sure it's accurate. It's possible it'll change a couple of numbers here or there, but that's not really the end of the world. If you tell them there's 200 co-sponsors and there's 205, it's not the end of the world. So that'll all come out for me. Phil, you're going to be there Sunday night, right?
I will, yes. Our
Okay.
Maryland delegation will be there, yes.
Perfect. So that's great. Just to circle back on the PAC piece, we set goals again this year for convention and for total giving. I sort of backed it up to pre-COVID and then sort of spread it out based on what we want to raise this year. We had a huge year last year, broke all kinds of records. So again, we're not expecting that, but we do. We'll talk about it on Monday, but we set a goal to raise, a spending goal and a goal to raise. I'm glad somebody asked about the reception on Tuesday at the Senate. There will be invitations. We printed how many, John? 900 invitations today. So obviously you all get invited. Anybody that's a UPMA member that's at convention. So there's a reception Sunday night. There's a lunch Monday. This is on Tuesday. Everybody's invited to the Capitol Hill Club to hang out there.
Yeah,
between meetings.
there's invitations for every senator and congressman.
Right.
And
So when you make your meeting and you're meeting with your staffer, if you want to hand them an invitation, invite them to the reception. Not many of them will come, but enough of them will come that if you give them your contact information, business card, whatever, and if they contact you, hey, I'm coming over, so let's make an effort to make that personal connection and break bread a little bit with them. It's a nice icebreaker. Those staffers don't get invited to as many things as you would think, and it's really for the staffers. We're not going to talk to a lot of Congress people. It's going to be their staffers. You may talk to some senators, but it's going to be the staffers. Now it's on the Senate side, so they're going to have to hike over there. But the last time we did it, it worked. So, we're going to try and do it. It may be a little bit of a, standing, there's going to be some standing room only. I'm trying to have chairs for everybody. I'm trying to have everywhere for somewhere to put their drinks, but it's going to be, it's sometimes it's the highlight of the weekend. So yes, anybody can come, and you will have invitations in your packet. As you walk in the door, John will hand you a packet with enough position papers for all your meetings, enough impact statements, one for each congressman, one for each senator, and you'll have enough invitations to hang out. And they're pretty generic. You can photocopy them if you want to hand out more. We don't care, because not a lot of people come, but you get 10 or 15 staffers come up, and then you've got that connection, right? So that's why we're doing that. Are any other questions?
Edmund,
Yes.
let's just talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
In 2019, Josh Hawley was a freshman senator from Missouri. He'd been in his job for 2.5 months. Our members from Missouri invited him to come to the reception. He came over. He talked to us. He's been a speaker at our legislative summits. He was a co-sponsor on postal reform, an original co-sponsor, all because of our work to get him to one event. And he's been with us ever since.
There's a couple people we would not have gotten postal reform without, and he's one of them.
Yeah.
So that's a great point. You don't know the impact you're having by inviting, whoever you're inviting. So that's a great point.
Particularly your new members, but even your seasoned members.
Yes.
They're all welcome. They can all learn something.
So we're gonna have a day of learning and then a day of outreach. We're gonna re-educate people that don't know who we are, that don't know how the Postal Service interacts with Congress. We're gonna be educating that. We're gonna be talking about UPMA without the vehicle of postal reform. It's gonna be a little, it's good, right? But it's gonna be a little different. So we have other issues to talk about. So with that, 25 minutes in, does anybody have any other questions? You guys are
President
already
Edmund?
Yes.
I was just getting ready to send you a chat. Did you want to maybe cover that the registration will be in a different area?
I'm not sure where the registration is going to be, Dom.
I
Do you
think
know
it's going to be on the
something?
bottom floor instead of the middle.
Okay. So it's going to be down where the meeting space is?
Yes, sir. That's what
Okay.
I was understanding.
Yeah. Well, and every time we get there, something's changed. So I will, if everybody knows the hotel, we come in, you go down the one level, there's that one area, then you can go down one more. That's where the meeting space is. Last year we had it on that mezzanine level. If you have to go down one more to get registration, that's fine. But the badges went to the printer today. So you'll be picking your stuff up there. Is there any, so thanks for that, Dom. Is there any other questions? All right, guys. Well, safe travels. Good hunting when you get here. And I will see everybody Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at the latest, right? All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Everybody.
Night, everybody.
Night.